All right, let's dive in. Today, we're looking at what might just be the next evolution of the internet. We're talking about a massive shift, moving away from an internet that just gives us information to one that actually takes action for us. It's a concept researchers are calling the agentic web.
So what does that actually mean for you and me? I mean, think about it. What if instead of you having to do all the work on the internet started doing the work for you? Seriously, imagine it could understand exactly what you want to achieve and then just go and do it, all on its own.
Okay, let's make this concrete. Think about booking a trip. You know the drill, right? You've got a dozen tabs open, one for flights, one for hotels, another for reviews. You're trying to compare prices, check your frequent flyer miles. It's a whole ordeal. It's work. Now, look at the agentic web. All of that gets replaced with a single sentence. You just say, book me a flight to New York for next weekend, and keep it in my budget. That's it. You don't do the steps, you just state the goal. An agent handles the rest.
So, let's put a formal definition on this. The agentic web is this whole new ecosystem where AI agents act for us. And I want to be clear, we're not just talking about a slightly smarter chatbot here. These agents are different. They're what the experts call persistent and autonomous intermediaries. Persistent means they stick around and keep working on a task. Autonomous means they do it on their own. They don't just fetch information. They actually plan things out, coordinate different services, and execute real-world tasks to get to a specific goal.
Now, this whole idea didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It's really the third major era of the internet. So to really get a grip on where we're headed, it helps to take a quick look back at how we got here. You can really break down the web's evolution into three big phases. First, back in the 90s, we had the PC web. Its whole paradigm was search. You had a question, you went to a search engine, you looked for the answer. Then around the late 2000s, the mobile web took over. The new paradigm became recommendation. Suddenly, apps and feeds were proactively suggesting things to us. And that brings us to today, or just around the corner, with the agentic web. The new paradigm, it's all about action. We stop searching and consuming, and we start delegating. And what's really cool is how this changes our role in all of this. Back in the PC days, we were basically explorers, charting our own path through this new digital world. With the mobile web, we became operators, tapping buttons, swiping through menus, running the apps. But in the agentic web, our role gets a serious promotion. We become directors. We don't push the buttons anymore. We just give the high-level direction and let our agents, let them do the acting.
So you might be wondering, what's the magic that makes this all work? Well, it's not magic. Researchers have actually laid out a blueprint. It boils down to three core pillars that are absolutely essential for this autonomous web to exist.
The first pillar is, no surprise, intelligence. And we're talking about a level of intelligence that's way beyond what we see in simple chatbots. For an agent to actually be helpful, it needs some serious cognitive chops. It has to understand the full context of what you're asking. It needs to be able to do long-term planning, for tasks that have a lot of steps. It also has to learn from what works and what doesn't, and even kind of reflect on its own performance to get better over time. It's got to be a true thinking partner.
Okay, pillar 2 is interaction. This one's a little more technical, but it's super important. See, an AI agent can't see a web page and click on a blue link like a person can. It needs a different way to talk to other services on the internet. So we're seeing a shift away from visual hyperlinks to what are called semantic protocols. You can think of it like a universal language just for AIs. It's a structured way for one agent to ask another, hey, what can you do? And get a clear, machine-readable answer. This allows them to find each other, team up, and get things done safely.
And this brings us to the third pillar, economy. And honestly, this is where things get really mind-bending. Because in the agentic web, these agents aren't just your personal assistants. They become autonomous economic players. We're talking about software that can be given a budget, that can make its own purchasing decisions, and that can even offer services to other agents. It's the foundation for brand new economies that are run by machines for machines.
Yeah, that idea of a new agent economy is so huge that we need to spend a little more time on it. Because this isn't just a small tweak, it's a total flip. From an economy built on getting human eyeballs on a page to one built on what machines can do for each other.
And this quote from the research really nails it. The whole idea of a web page starts to change. It's no longer just a static page with words and pictures. It becomes an active thing, a software agent itself. It's defined less by what it shows you and more by what it can do. Its capabilities become its most important feature.
So let's look at this economic shift side by side. For the last 20 years, everything online has run on what we call the human attention economy. It's a battle for your eyeballs, your clicks, your time. But the agentic web completely flips the script. We move to an agent attention economy. In this world, services don't compete for your emotional clicks. They compete to be the most logical choice for another AI. They're judged on pure capability, cost, and how reliable they are.
So what does a transaction in this new economy actually look like? Well, it's pretty straightforward. Step 1, your agent gets a complex goal from you. Step 2, it goes out and finds other services or agents that can help, kind of like browsing a digital directory or a marketplace. Step 3, those services basically bid for the job, competing on things like price, speed, and reputation. And finally, Step 4, your agent picks the winner, tells it to do the job, and even handles the payment, all automatically.
Okay, but let's pump the brakes for a second. Giving this much power and autonomy to software, well, it's not all sunshine and roses. There are some serious risks involved. We're heading into uncharted territory, and there are new kinds of threats we really need to think about.
And these new threats are way more subtle than just a virus or a password getting stolen. Take something like goal drift. This is where a cleverly designed service could slowly manipulate your agent, nudging it off course. Imagine telling your agent to book the cheapest flight, but it gets tricked into booking a more expensive one because a website persuaded it that value was more important. Or even worse, context injection, where a bad actor feeds your agent fake information that poisons its decision-making from that point on.
This leads us to some really tough, open-ended questions that nobody has a perfect answer for yet. For instance, the tool use paradox. How can an agent trust the other tools and agents it's working with? Any one of them could be malicious. Then there are deep technical problems, like catastrophic forgetting, which is a real thing, where an AI learns a new skill but forgets an old one. And how do you build a system of decentralized trust so that millions of agents who have never met can still rely on each other? And, of course, the billion-dollar question. How do we make sure all these automated payments are secure? And we absolutely have to get this right, because the stakes are enormous. When we look at how current agents perform on safety tests, the results are not great. They score less than 60% on comprehensive safety evaluations. That number should give everyone pause. It's a huge red flag that highlights just how far we have to go to make sure this powerful future is also a safe one.
So, all of this, the power, the potential, the risks, it all boils down to one final massive question. As we start handing over more and more of our digital lives, our decisions, and even our wallets to these autonomous agents, who is really in control? That's the question we're all going to have to grapple with as we step into this new era. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.